And welcome back to Creatio Arena, where we're gathering amazing speakers to talk about very interesting and cutting edge topics. And today I am joined by an incredible team of speakers. Would like to present you and introduce you to Vijay Venki, founder and CEO at Virtuous Digital. Venki has over 25 years of experience in sales, marketing, and leadership by working for Fortune 500 companies. Vijay, welcome to Creatio Arena. How are you doing
Thank
today?
you. Thank you, Alex. I'm doing great.
Perfect. And also we have today Arnaldo Federico, associate at SmartU. Arnaldo has a lot of experience with the business solution software market and for both large and small companies. Arnaldo, welcome to Creatio Arena.
Thank you very much. Welcome. Thank you.
Welcome, Analo.
All right, and as usual, I have my good friend and colleague Eric Hale from Creatio, who's the global director for business for sales enablement, right?
Yeah, you got it right, Alex.
All right, got it right this time. All right, perfect. So, gentlemen, today we're going to be talking about is whether the companies that are going to be implementing software will need to still have in-house a team of citizen developers, right? Or whether they are still going to be using the services of outsourced IT companies, and whether they will be using third-party SIs, even within that future world where everyone is going to be a developer, right? Where everyone is going to be enabled by low-code, tools for application creation and business process automation. Now, before we start the discussion itself, I would like to remind our audience that on the broadcast page in the bottom of the screen, you have the option to vote for either outsource or in-house. At all times, you can change your vote. You can change your mind if you hear some of the arguments here that are going to change it. And of course, don't forget that we also have the chat area where you can as well share your ideas and ask questions to our speakers today. So, gentlemen, usually what we do when we kick this off, we start by some opening statements, opening ideas, and let's really jump into it. So, Vicky, what do you think about this topic?
Yeah, it's a very, Alex, is a very tricky one, at the same time very interesting one, because you try to put in-house developers versus outsourced developers now, but we need to understand IT department still will remain the same. We have the citizen IT is the next new department, and then outsourced companies will still continue to do business with IT as such. I would say citizen IT is a new innovation that came as out of necessity, because it's just out of necessity. Also, it's a part of the agile process. It's a digital delivery model. And, we always seen that, IT was not delivering on time for business. And that's how we have always seen the problem.
Yes, exactly. In my point of view, also we see the people in their business. They know their business, and they want to have tools to develop more business as a citizen developer inside big company or large company. And they become champions on their business using a platform like Creatio and like low code, no code, and reach their goal to make tools easier for people inside. Despite the ITs inside the company, they do the work. But they still have the need to get the people for the business doing what they really do want IT working for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Well, Eric, what do you think on this topic? Is it going to go to full in-house, or are we still going to be working with a lot of outsourcing IT companies, that are going to be citizen developer outsourcing?
Yeah, and it is with most topics, Alex, in our arena. There's always a gray area. So I think that as we're in these times of growth and we're looking to expand our organizations, it really is a choice based on specific business requirements. I feel that there's business benefits on both sides, right? If you have a large company and you want to have your team in-house under one roof, managing your goals and your expectations, then in-house is the way to go. But maybe you're a smaller organization or a startup that really wants to implement maybe a single project and you don't want to expand your in-house team, then utilizing an MSP is going to be the most viable option for you. You just hire the team at once, and the MSP will manage the risks, issues, and everything else related to that project. So I think it's really going to be based on specific company needs, but there's definitely pros and cons with each.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the best thing that happened out of low code development is just it's an entire organization is going for human augmentation and democratization, which means asking business and non-business people to get into innovation, to drive innovation at scale. So as a part of the acceleration, every non-developer is getting into it is impatient now. He has an idea. Earlier we have idea to execution, we have a couple of months time. Now today ideas need to be executed on the fly. So I would always say that non-business, non-IT people are getting into this space because they want to execute quickly, and IT is doing more complex and more advanced projects. If I really put the pyramid, I would say that highly extreme applications, and then you have enterprise application, then you have department application, then you have work group application. Work group application, department application, largely embraced by the low code, no code development. And while the enterprise and extreme enterprise applications are still taken up by IT, we have always seen developers are still in demand. So that demand partly is fulfilled by the non-IT. In the past we used to call shadow IT. Shadow IT generally used to produce rogue applications, but now with the low code and advanced technologies, they pretty much, with the strong visualization, great UI, low code no code applications pretty much are solving the problem. So that's
Yeah,
what I feel it. Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely bring up some great points, right? So if you have an in-house team, that can be traditionally, under traditional development methods, very expensive, right? It can be a luxury to have that.
Right.
But really, low code and other rapid application development tools have really offset that for a lot of companies, right? Like, because
Yeah.
traditional what we call them here at Creatio, citizen developers,
Right.
are less expensive resources than traditional developers, and it really augments the IT department as well, because you can take some of that strain off of IT, and let them focus on more of the heavy lifting projects within an organization.
Absolutely. And so 7 years back, when we were implementing large project in a customer, I was sitting next to the CIO, and there was a business team called him, and I was overhearing on the speakerphone. They said, how long this takes this application to get started? He just gave 3 months. I said, 3 months, I don't have time. He said, I just need to do in the next couple of weeks. I said, sorry, just might take 2 weeks, but I'm already queued up with the work. So, which means the business priorities are known to business more than IT. So the business is taking up this initiatives using low code. This is an amazing, that's why this emerging field, which is now going to be the $25-30 billion business in the next 5 to 7 years now.
Yeah. At the other end, also the low code, no code for non-developer and going back to business instead of going back to IT, it's the time to market. You're right, and you need application that goes fast, and it's a concrete application that goes fast and that can solve and find solution for business department. And I think the business department don't have to use the ITs always waiting the number and bring the number, take the number, and I will bring you back a solution or an application. Now the business drive everything, and I think we are starting at the e-commerce side for everybody, since I think 25 or 35 years ago, nobody of my friends were going to IT, and now it's just a matter of everybody has an IT, a very powerful computer in their hands, and they need application to work together and to make the solution works. That's that's uh, that's the way the big banks and so on are looking for a solution that goes fast.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a migration. It's a basically moving away from the traditional Excel and spreadsheets. You have that digital dexterity with you already. Those skills are already with you, but unfortunately, you can't do with the Excel database, right? So you have to graduate to the low-code application using database and then using visual design, and you can also create ideas on the fly, and that's how this is such a important work. I always seen that necessity comes out of it, you know but then, as you just said, the topic is that whether outsourced people will be less required with the low code. I would come back to the topic. I think it's a zero sum game. The when I say that five people in the organizations are promoted, does it mean that another five people are not promoted? So they're not in a disadvantaged situation, right? But when the business people getting into low code development, it is not getting disturbed. It is rather feeling happy about it. Just we have some issues about governance, modeling, and SDLC cycle, all this. You need to look at that. Other than that, I see that IT is definitely, as you mentioned, Eric is doing heavy lifting. You can't develop video software using low code development team. Definitely you need IT, or you need outsourced partner. Today outsourced partners are generally appointed or recruited for outcome based model. He drives the value, he comes with the expertise, and the key is talent management. If you really ask me that you don't have the talent in house, you have to outsource it.
Yes,
That's key.
and even for the application, when you need certified people with one application, it can be inside because it takes too much time to train the people to get in the best of breed of technology that you use. You better go
Absolutely.
outside, and then you will take the best, the talents outside with the certified people, business analyst or developer, and ask them to make some code. And if it's a complex code, do the complex code, and then give back the application to the inside the company, and the people can develop and continue to use the application and make some modification very easily without going back to the outsource and the IT people. I think it's a mix of that. It's a mix of getting, fast to the market with people inside the company, and when it comes and touch the application or touching some application that you have to code to bring everything together, you go outside, because in the outside world people know technology. Inside the company, they know the business. They are very good on business. They are driven by the business. They can bring the business with the technology, but outside their business, they will get all the technology and all the complexity of getting the IT works together. That I mean.
So it is a digital first world. I think organization is slowly improving the skill sets of every employee, coming with a digital dexterity program. I was just talking to Alex now. Obviously, e-learning is going to be biggest business now. E-learning largely for the internal employees, because unfortunately most of the employees have remained away from IT for a long period. If you see that 15, 20 years back, IT and business never used to see eye to eye. And today the gap is blurring. IT and business are very close friends today, and they're working together. And I was just reading an article yesterday. 5 years, 10 years back, marketing is about branding and promotion and campaign. Today's marketing about analytics and data and metrics, all driven by IT. So marketing and IT just married together. Similarly, business and IT people are converging fast. It is to deliver the value on scale and also deliver as per the processes requirements, because customers are demanding. See, every digital transformation starts with the customer, and that's the idea. So
Yeah. Yeah. Alex and I did a webinar a couple of months back on just that, right? Is the
yeah,
role of the CIO changing, right?
yes,
And I think
absolutely.
like the business environment that we're in now, the role of the CIO is becoming more and more relevant. So not only do you have to have this technical acumen, but you also have to have business acumen, right? So
Yeah,
that way you're translating those business needs, because IT teams and business teams traditionally are speaking two different languages, right? So how do
yeah,
we bridge that gap? And you see the role of the CIO becoming more and more relevant, in those business discussions, right? Because we
yeah,
have to translate how technology is going to meet those business needs. So we see that role changing. Another good point I thought was, Arnaldo, when you had mentioned, the ongoing change management process and how low code can help with that. So, again, you don't have to go back. So I know that's another way that, in-house teams are driving the need for low code applications. But, also another thing I want to throw out there was, security. I was reading an article earlier today about SpaceX and how they're not allowing their their employees to even utilize Zoom like we're
mm,
utilizing right now, to communicate because of security threats. So we also see in-house teams becoming more and more um, prevalent because of the security risks that can be associated with project details or confidentiality issues going out to outsource teams. So is that something you guys are seeing as considerations as well when companies are looking at, do we outsource or do we keep this in-house?
yeah. I think Eric. I think that's true with the so many compromises happening on the security now. We have been seeing that. I think when it comes to digital IP and your core strengths or core assets, which are prone to have any security leaks, you do not want to outsource it. Very much sure. I think what you want to outsource is in piecemeal basis. I could see that large projects are not happening on outsourcing basis. You are having piecemeal projects, which will take up related to expertise, related to particular integration, or if you want to talk about application development, the complex customizations, those things. Just because I don't have in-house resources, I don't have in-house talent, I don't have in-house certified people, that's where you get to the outsourcing. But I think while they are doing outsourcing, still they are putting the people to deal with outsourcing just to avoid any security breach. So it's now well governed outsourcing rather than clean blanket. You give an outsourcing company, "Hey, go and develop this."
Right.
So that's
Yeah.
that's the changing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point. Then and
Yeah.
a benefit of outsourcing, right? Because you can
Yes.
outsource a specific business function as part
That's
of
right.
that development. Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
great point.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in the world of a citizen developer, uh, normally we cannot outsource a large solution. The
Yeah.
large solution is outsourced only because of the cost and the time to market. So, I mean, if you want to build something from the scratch, you cannot do in-house because of
Yes.
the business run and the IT runs problem that you have. So you
Mhm.
need to get those solutions built outside and bring back the project to the company and run after that the new solution. In citizen world, I think, or citizen developer, it's not the case. I mean, you can outsource some piece of code with the complexity, but with the platform like a Creatio platform, you can build a lot of things. And in terms of security, you have the security of the platforms. You can bring the platforms into the company, like on-prem, and you can also use, if you go, if you don't mind about security, even though that the security in SaaS world, software as a service world, is pretty good, and it's pretty fast. I mean, it depends of the politic of the company. And here in Switzerland, we, as you may know, we are very aware about security, because it's our message of every company, that we are very secure, and it's really right. And so we can bring some codes outside the company if it's not relevant about security. So you have, I mean, you have a mix of all world: security, small solution, large solution, outsourced solution, and talent in certified people. You have to. It's like a social network with the IT. I think IT is like that today.
Arnold, I don't think I fully agree with some of your statements, right? Saying that in the citizen development world, let's say some smaller applications are going to be possible to be built, being built in-house, and some of the larger applications are still going to be outsourced. And the reason why I'm not fully agreeing with you is purely based on the dynamics of how the market is evolving, right? And how the tools are evolving for local design, right? For low code, no codes, for drag and drop, for, you know, integration pre-building, and so on and so forth. And the way that I believe that, personally, I believe that this is going to be going forward is that, you know, over the years, the citizen developers are going to be empowered with more and more advanced tools to create those applications, right? And this is going to be making it possible to build not just some departmental or role-based applications, right? But also to build larger, high class systems, you know, ERP applications that could be fully done and built from scratch in-house, or using some pre-built modules available from marketplaces or something like that. But and overall, like if we talk about our topic, what I think is going to be happening is that, of course, the IT world is a living organism, just like any other market, just like any economy, just like anything else, right? There are natural shifts, there are changes in the environments and what is happening in that world. And of course, now that we are being introduced with more advanced functionality and more advanced tools of low-code application design and creation, more and more applications are going to be built in-house, right? So if earlier you could mostly think about those apps being built, you know, by outsourcing, then they were introducing the in-house development teams. Right now, we're going to have low-code applications, but the only thing that you cannot really provide with a low-code application is really the experience of that industry, the experience of that outsourcing company that is accumulating it by working with hundreds, you know, thousands of different customers.
Yeah.
The knowledge really of the people that work for those organizations. Yes, you can hire a you cannot use that knowledge of the outsourcing company. Right, so you can take these and these modules, and they are going to be covering these specific needs, and they're going to be offering more and more consultancy services, right? And they're going to be collecting more and more knowledge, because this is where the
technical skills. It's about their domain expertise, industry expertise, how many customers they have served in the past, what is the collective knowledge they can bring to table. So today, you know, it was 10. Today it's a different century now we are living in, because Every new outsourcing company that we sign, we don't sign just because they have dozens of certified people. That's important. But at the end of the day, how many consulting people are there? How many domain experts are there? What industries they have worked on in the past? What transformation they have brought for respective clients? If they have driven the transformation, business model change using the application and using their domain expertise in-house, that's where I want to have the talent, because I don't have the talent in my company. That's where I outsource it. Coming to your point, Eric, is yes, security is very important, but then we have, if I really look at the data, the security lapses happening from outsourcing companies to security lapses that happened on Facebook and other networks are completely different. I have not seen any big security lapses happening from outsourcing companies because they care for their reputation more than anything else, actually.
Yep. Understood.
Yeah.
I think another thing to consider when we're looking at, and I know it's a touchy subject, and I know that there'll be different opinions on this, but
Right.
we also look at other outsourced resources. You look at it from a costing perspective, right?
Right.
So I know that in-house can be expensive. You've got overhead, you've got recruiting process, you've got benefits that you have to pay, salaries, even from a citizen developer or a low-code developer standpoint, can be high in certain areas. I think here in the U.S. it can range anywhere from 70,000 U.S. dollars base salary for some of these individuals, and then up from there. So when we look at it from a cost perspective, and cost it shouldn't be your first consideration, but cost is important, right?
Yes,
to any business. So maybe that is a driver for outsourcing some of your IT functions. I don't know what everybody's thoughts are on that, but
absolutely. I have seen Microsoft outsourcing to dozens of companies and they have set up the offices in their own complex. So that's why they are doing it. I said they are just simply doing because, as you said, they don't want to recruit people and start giving so many other benefits. Second issue is that, as I just reiterated, that if you have 3 months project, you don't want to really recruit a full-time employee and after 3 months you want to fire him. You want to you want to outsource the particular job and then say, hey, this is the 3 months contract I have got and I'm good with it. Any future contracts I'll sign with you. So with a regular employee, with the EX, employee experience is a big factor today for every organization. You don't want to hire an employee who simply sits idle. So that's the one reason, talent management needs to be, it's about demand, supply, and what you need internally, what you want to outsource. This is a big decision. Organizations take it. And as Alex told, I think it's not just because of IT skills, it is because of domain expertise and industry flavor that they bring. So that's a key point now. So which means, again, as I initiated, low code, no code development should not impact the good outsourcing companies in the near term. Because if they were anyway used to deliver low value, low quality work, anyway, they're out of business. Now, if you're delivering value to the customer, then only you are in the business as an outsourcing company. I think as a citizen developer, why the citizen development has come into the organization, because in the agile organization, in composable enterprise, what we want to look at is that we want to drive the transformation quickly. We don't want to wait for 3 months. Either we are looking at the innovation, we are trying to answer the competition, we are looking at the new markets, or we just have new ideas, where we want to execute quickly. For that, you need citizen developers, definitely. And citizen developers are now getting into more advanced applications. In fact, I would say your core product, say every company has their core product, whether travel company, travel portal, e-commerce company, e-commerce, probably core products largely are done by their internal IT. Application development is now shared between IT and the citizen developers. Just to tell you, whether application development could be CRM, ERP, it could be HCM or any application. So that's where your internal IT as well as citizen developer collaborate and do, and see that, as we said, if they need a new expertise, if they need some knowledge, they outsource it. So
Mhm.
that's the three set of organizations are entering into this.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
citizen developer is going to be permanent department in an organization now.
Mhm.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
I couldn't agree more. I think that, again, that's a great way to leverage outsourcing is additional expertise. So I don't say
Yeah.
this often, but I kind of agreed with, Alex's statement earlier when he had mentioned that, IT is it's a living, it's a breathing organism. So,
Yeah.
applications are changing. If you think of like financial services industry, how many different applications come out like in a quarter, right? The way that we manage our money, the way that we access balances, combine accounts. There's new applications coming out like every quarter, it seems, in that particular industry. And it's tough for IT technology or manage a point solution that might be able to address that. And you might not have that level of expertise in house. So that really is where you can engage managed service provider to come in and leverage their expertise in that space, because it's tough. It's a constantly changing world.
Yes, exactly. In term of citizen developer, they are touching the people outside the company and inside the company business. But to keep the production, the run, the IT run, it will be done by the IT people. This is the difference. Like the IT people, they are like industrial people, and the citizen people, citizen developer, they are the the business, the analyst of the right business they do. So they are touching people outside the company. So that's why you bring a lot of different solution, quick to implement, quick to get to the market, and you have to connect those applications to the mainstream application, because of banks. They are not going to change. They are changing. They are changing the way they touch the people, the users. But inside, it's pretty industrial, and you have to get everything done. There is a lot of flows, and with a lot of MIPS. If you're talking MIPS, it's inside. It's done inside. Even in traveling, that people, they are buying tickets. You have a lot of traffics of different legs, and those legs are done with big ITs. They are not done by citizen developer. The touching of the user, they will be done by them, and then connected to the big, and the big, like a mainframe. Mainframe is not dead now. It's still there. I don't know, but they are making a lot of money. The people, they are building mainframe, and the mainframes they can do because they are running a lot of MIPS per second.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I mean it's everything goes and touching the organization of a company. Let's say you go to your, let's say you are belonging to a bank, and you run your business, and the first thing you say, you think it's I open an Excel sheet, and I do something inside your company. The shadow IT, you just forget it, and because you have you can get the control of one platform that gives you all the tools to build application, which is not the case if you go to the IT side. In the IT side, you have rules, you have a lot of different parameters, you have securities and everything. And even the people in the IT doesn't know, or doesn't want to know what does the low code, no code in the low code platform. This is what it's because I have some customer that have some fears about shadow IT.
Although, how do you govern? It's it could turn it into the wild west, right? Like people just developing multiple, and when something breaks, where are they going to go? Right? They're going to come back to IT to try to fix it, right? So you also have to think about how do you govern all of applications and things that are developed on low code technology.
Yes, and that's why you need
Mm-hmm.
inside the people in the IT, and they work and they say, okay, I have a breach. You go for your partner outside, and then this partner will bring you the solution. I mean, and it's very easy. The time to wait some solution done in the low code world, it's more higher than the IT inside the company. Inside the company, it's if a breach takes 2 seconds or 1 minute or 5 minutes, it's a risk. But if you go in the other side, you can wait 1 day, and everything is done the next day. You know, this is maybe the way that the solution, the development of new solution goes.
I agree, Arnaldo. So I think, IT department is creating, CIO is creating fusion teams. Fusion team means someone is a code developer, someone is a citizen developer, someone looks at data and analytics, someone looks at operation side of it. Operation side people would most interested in supply chain and also IoT and other processes. And someone on analytical and data science, they look at the metrics and things like that. Someone at channel side look at the marketing and they look at customer journeys. So CIO now, good CIOs are looking at design thinking and creating fusion teams now. The fusion teams, obviously the CIO takes the governance, CIO still takes the responsibility of QA. As a citizen developer, you might build an application. What if it is vulnerable for security? So he might still do the QA. CIA might still approve, but here the question is that IT is taking, earlier in the past 10 years back, IT was picking up the project and it is queuing up, scheduling for the next 6 months, 1 year, 3 years, 4 years. Business has no patience. Business is directly aligned with the development of the company.
Yeah.
And so they need to really run the business at scale because they are responsible. They have got their KRAs. They have got their KPIs to perform. And IT's KRA is simple. They don't really look at the outcomes of the business. They look at the project timelines and they look at the resources they deployed. And so what has happened, this development is only about quickly bringing ideas to the table and then, implement some of the applications and then drive. As Alex told, yes, I think more advanced applications are being driven by low code and no code now. I would say in simple terms, low code, no code is an Uberization of application development. You brought that Uber effect. If you really ask me, some 20 years back, before Google was founded, if someone knows that when you search for any topic, it used to be such a big task. Today, you just search for anything on Google. It's just a second, right? So that's exactly happened. Googleization or Uberization happened to application development with the low code, no code, and citizen development. That's it. That's the way to look at it.
Yes, and also for the standard of the company. If a company has a standards of ITs, everybody thinks about okay, what kind of standard I have with my application done. But you don't have to think about that in that way. You have to change your mind and says, okay, what is the goal of doing some solutions, some processes, and what is the end of that? If an application or a platform, low code, no code platform is in the company, is like an Excel sheet. There is no standard Excel sheet. Your Excel sheet with your formula is different as mine. But at the end, we have the same solution, same things. In the low code world, you do something that is needed for the business, and that's it. And if it's done with some standard BPMN 2.0 because it's a BPMN with the Creatio, and as soon as you have done everything and everybody in your company understand what you are doing, that's the solution is done. You are not a developer. You did some parameterization or some configuration with the low code platform, and that's the end of that. I don't think it's a Far West. is just a platform that gives you and brings you some solution. That's it. You don't have to think. You have to think differently. You don't have to think like an IT guy. You have to think like, okay, this is a solution that works fine. That's it.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's right. Yeah.
Yep.
So if you really look at, whenever we go to implement a particular project, software project, you have a technology architect, you have a functional guy, you have the project manager, you have the subject matter experts, all the 4 or 5 people sit there. Subject matter expert and business guys trying to explain an idea. And the technology architect is looking at his own view. And then, what is happening is, the subject matter expert is able to convey his message. Today he says, I wish I had been a developer. I could have done it in just in 2 days. And that's what is being done today.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what exactly being done today, because that's it.
Yep. We used to run an interesting session at our Accelerate events when we had them live. We'd start the day off with Alex here, my good friend Alex, taking a business request from someone in the audience, right? Like, what's an application you'd like to develop? And we would develop that throughout the day. We'd check in at lunch. Alex would have it half built, and by the time that the day was over, you wouldn't have it, wouldn't be connected. Obviously, he's not building integrations or anything, but on the platform, but he's a coder or anything like that. But that just speaks to the power of
an English major, in fact.
English major. Oh, all right,
yes.
there you go. It was always I always thought that was a power Accelerate event. Yeah. Not to blow your head up there, Alex, but.
All right, perfect. Well, gentlemen, this is a very interesting and exciting conversation. I think some of the underlying message that we have here, right, that it's definitely going to be moving somewhere, right, and in many out when implementing a solution the other direction, right? So I think this is really where we all agree on, right? And what is interesting actually is I've been keeping an eye on the scales for the votes on our broadcast page, and if we were starting something around 60 to 70%, pro in-house, right, of citizen developers or classic developers, regardless of the tools that they're going to be using. That being said, thank you very much. And close off this session. Maybe a little bit. I want to announce a few things for our audience. First of all, that our next Creatio Arena is going to happen same time as always on 10th of September. So we're going to take a little hiatus here with the broadcasts. We are also announcing our Accelerate Global event, which is an amazing, one of a kind, a 24-hour live stream for conference for IT and digital leaders, building the future of enterprises with low code. Our team has just posted the registration page into the chat area, so make sure to follow the link and save your spot, which is going to be comfortably located at your desk. And join for either the whole 24 hours or join for the time that you can. Look at the schedules, check out those specific streams that are going to be of most interest for you. But I believe that this is the first and the only 24-hour live stream IT conference that has ever been hosted. And we are all very excited to have it on October 28th. We're all very excited to do this marathon of non-stop conferencing. Right, Eric?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah. And Arnaldo and Vijay, we expect you to be there for the full 24 hours, guys. You're joining us, right?
You. I think thanks. We have to say thank COVID. I think that's the.
Thank you. We will be there. We try to train now. We start to train now.
There we go.
All right, gentlemen. Well, thank you very much for your time. It was a pleasure having you on the arena, and I hope to talk to you soon, very soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Arnold. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.